To the 90s, this is like one of those old time machine movies. It's remember Newt Gingrich? Came to power in, as I recall, 96. And his whole thing was, let's shut down the government. We'll show that Bill Clinton president. We'll make him look bad. We'll mess. And frankly, it was shutting down the government. Maybe it was 95, because 96 was the election year, and Bill Clinton got reelected in part because Gingrich had tried to shut down the government, if my recollection is serving me right. But in any case, the bottom line was that shutting down the government turned out not to be a particularly popular thing. But Republicans keep trying to do it. They've tried to do it a couple of times since Gingrich did it, and now they're threatening to do it again. This is amazing. Journalist and former Vox editor and co-founder Matthew Iglesias is writing, quote, extreme MAGA Republican leaders are openly threatening to cause economic catastrophe in order to achieve their dreams of slashing Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Actually, that's from, it's not from Matt Iglesias, I'm sorry, that's from Speaker Nancy Pelosi's communications director, Henry Connolly. Matt Iglesias has said the Republican Party's plan to fight inflation is to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Aaron Fritzner, the former deputy chief of staff to Congressman Bayer, says House Republicans are saying out loud now that holding the debt limit hostage to demands to cut Social Security and Medicare is a, quote, top priority. I'm perpetually baffled by this. You know, they say Social Security is the third rail of politics. Republicans, and I understand, ever since it was introduced in 1935, Republicans have been trying to destroy Social Security. And they've been trying to destroy it because they see it as, well, for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's something the Democrats put into place. And so anything Democrats did that's popular, hey, we've got to destroy it. Number two, they call it socialism. Now, it's not really socialism by even their definition, because socialism by their definition is taking money from rich people and giving it to poor people. And with Social Security, if you earn over $140,000 a year, you don't pay into Social Security anymore. So nobody's taking money from rich people for Social Security. All of the money that's in the Social Security Trust Fund came from working class people and poor people. 100% of it. You make, $5,000 a year, you're paying Social Security taxes. You make $5 million a year, you're not paying Social Security taxes. But nonetheless, the Republicans call it socialism because, hey, it's helping society, I guess. And so they hate Social Security for that. But why, I get hating it. And I get that, George W. Bush, he was getting a lot of money from the bankers on Wall Street. Arguably, they helped him get into the White House in 2000, or at least get close enough to it that, an appointee of his father, Clarence Thomas, and 4 other Republicans on the court were able to say, yeah, we're going to just hand the election to George W. Bush. We're going to make him president, rather than Al Gore, who, in my opinion, actually won the election. But, Bush then, after he won in 2000, he said, okay, we're going to privatize Medicare and Social Security, and he succeeded with Medicare. In 2003, they rolled out this thing called Medicare Advantage, which is privatized Medicare. It's it's not even Medicare. It's private health insurance that is available to people over 65. It used to be that health insurance companies either didn't or couldn't, and I don't know about the couldn't for sure, but I know they didn't offer health insurance policies to people over 65. And with Medicare Advantage, they were able to offer health insurance policies to over 65 because the government would pay for them. A sweet deal, right? And now over 50% of people on Medicare or people who think they're on Medicare, are actually on a privatized plan, a Medicare Advantage, which will be fine while you're young and healthy. And by young, I'm talking, 60 to 75 or thereabouts. But you start pushing into your late 70s or into your 80s or 90s, and you start getting serious medical conditions, and particularly the last year of life, when, which is the most expensive year of life. And you're going to discover that these health insurance companies are going to say, yeah, we told you that you bought Medicare, but no, you didn't. So anyhow, George W. Bush succeeded in privatizing Medicare in 2003. He won the election in 2004. That one he actually legitimately won, and I think that you could blame that on Osama bin Laden. And so in 2005, right after the election, in January of 2005, he started a road trip to sell privatizing Social Security. He had succeeded in privatizing Medicare, and now he wants to privatize Social Security. The way he wanted to do it was very similar to the way they did it with Medicare. They wanted to make Social Security optional. And if you didn't want to buy it from Social Security, or if you didn't want to buy in, if you didn't want to be part of the Social Security system, you could instead buy a plan through Wall Street, through one of the big banks. You still had the money taken out of your paycheck, just like you still have your Medicare money taken out of your paycheck. But that money would go to Bank of America or Citibank or JP Morgan instead of to the Medicare or to the Social Security Trust Fund. And after Bush had visited about 15, 20 cities, he just pulled the plug on the whole plan because, it wasn't as well conceived as the privatization of Medicare. They had a brand for privatizing Medicare. They didn't have a brand for privatizing Social Security. If they had called this thing Social Security Advantage, it might have worked, but it didn't. So Republicans are still trying to turn Social Security over to Wall Street. They're still trying to privatize it. They're still trying to destroy it. And, I started this whole rant out by saying, why are they doing this? What's this all about? Why are they willing to go to the mat for it when it's politically destructive to them? And I think I just answered the question. It's not that they hate socialism, because it's not really socialism, but even if it was, it's not that. It's not that they hate programs that were started by Democrats, although of course they do. It's that there's a bunch of guys on Wall Street who are worth tens of billions of dollars, who are pouring money like it's a thunderstorm, just pouring money over the tops of Republican politicians and saying, Social Security is $1 trillion a year program. We want that money to flow through our banks. If we just skim 1% off the top, we can make a fortune. Over on Medicare Advantage, the Medicare Advantage providers are making 40% in some cases. Medicare itself, the administration cost is 2%. So that's a 38% increase. Or 30. I'm characterizing that incorrectly for the statisticians out there, but you understand what I'm saying. They're making a pile of money. And I guarantee you, if they privatize Social Security, it's not going to be that they just take 1% off that trillion. They're going to be taking 30, 40% or whatever they can get, just like the Medicare Advantage parasites are. And now the Republicans are saying if they take the House this fall, and there's a very good chance that they will, by the way, if they take the House of Representatives this fall, they're going to refuse to raise the debt ceiling, which will shut down the government until the Democrats say, okay, we give. You can have Social Security Advantage too. So keep an eye on this. This is not going away. This is going to be a big deal. And we need to be paying attention to this. We need to be, focused on this, because this is coming. This is a quote from Bloomberg Law. The 4 Republicans interested in serving as House Budget Committee chairman in the next Congress said in interviews that next year's deadline to raise or suspend the debt ceiling is a point of leverage for their party if they can win control of the House.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
It goes on to add Social Security and Medicare eligibility changes, spending caps, and safety network requirements are among the top priorities of key House Republicans who want to use the debt ceiling to extract concessions from Democrats.